Welcome, everybody. This is the Cake Factory Presents Behind the Line. And we're here today with the founder, Alyssa. We're just going to give you guys a background of basically how she came about the Cake Factory, how I came along with the Cake Factory, just talk basically about the industry itself, and go from there. So, sis, when did you start the Cake Factory?
I want to say it was the year before COVID happened. That was actually a really crazy time, trying to do a business and grow it when all the shutdowns were happening. But we started it at the time. I was actually going to buy another facility and take part in a hardcore fitness gym, and things actually didn't end up working out the way we thought it was going to be. And I just really did not want to work for anybody. I didn't want to work for anybody. I wanted to do things how I wanted to do things. I wanted to create things in a way I thought was more beneficial. So that was really a forefront for me. So that was kind of in my mind of trying to figure a way how to do that. And I actually ended up training with a good friend of mine over at Boulevard. And there was a space there and it was not being utilized. And I just, at the time, my husband and I were both just like, this is just a waste of a space. This could absolutely be turned into something. And yeah, that was probably about a year before COVID. Just kept thinking of like, how could I create something? How could I do something here that would be in line of what my vision was and what my dream of helping and providing something that really nobody was doing at the time, and all encompassing. So, we talked to Sean, the owner, and agreed to take over the room and take the space. And from there, something just was created. And I think you came in probably about
a year
into that.
Yeah. Yeah, about a year after. For those of you who don't know, Boulevard Fitness was the only gym open in San Diego County outside of, I think, Metro. Right?
Yeah, outside Metro.
Outside of Metro,
Oceanside.
That was, I don't want to say defiant of the lockdowns, but they were the only gym open at the time. And I guess your background before the Cake Factory was hardcore fitness?
So it was hardcore fitness, and I actually went to school for physical therapy. So I worked in sports clinics, I worked in rehab facilities, for sports-oriented hospital settings, a lot of, I guess, athletic background and rehabilitation background. So I had come from seeing systems that obviously are pretty broken because it does not really completely work, in my opinion. So I went through all that, and then again, my fitness has been, health has been my entire life. So had some friends actually in hardcore and, tried to get into that. And again, wanted to open a facility just because of the fact that I wanted to be able to provide and do things a different way. But, things didn't work out, obviously, and ended up being actually a blessing because it gave me the opportunity to kind of look somewhere else. And then that's where this kind of stemmed.
Well, what got you to name it the Cake Factory? Because every time I bring up like, hey, I'm a partner and owner of the Cake Factory, they're like, oh, what kind of cakes do you guys sell?
Do you know how many times in the beginning they're like, oh, are you guys gonna have bundt cakes? Are you gonna have red velvet? Please put in like a Boston cream pie. Like the amount of people, it was hilarious. But so I just figured at that time, glutes was actually, and legs were actually a very dominant thing that was kind of coming out. And obviously the wellness division was just starting to come into the States. But I just had realized how much there was a lack of knowledge, and not only just fundamentals, but foundation and how things were taught, and really mechanics wise. And, and a lot of trainers and a lot of facilities, coaches just weren't really heavily involved with a lot of different all aspect areas. And it was just like, go do this, go do this. There was no rhyme. There was no reason behind really what they were doing or what the purpose was. And I wanted people to understand that there's, ways to go about things where, some athlete who came in, had been told by doctors, he's never going to be able to squat again, or he's never going to be able to do like just normal day-to-day things. And in my head, that was like, I don't believe that. Like, I don't think that is right. And I think that if you actually understand and you're trying to go through these steps, you can definitely go back to normal life, or probably even be better than you were before, because you're actually learning things and correcting things that you probably were doing, not the most ideal from before. So kind of back to Cake Factory, legs and glutes was kind of a big area I wanted to cover. And obviously, with it being popularity, but it was like, okay, what do we name this without, being just too straightforward or just something like that, but also kind of fun and something catchy. And obviously, I grew up with all guys, all brothers, and my husband was there with me too. And we were all just kind of joking around, and it was just all about, we used to talk about us or girls and be like, yeah, they got major cakes, or, we got caked up, fucking caked up in the back. And people were like, what? And it was just like some goofy term we used to throw back and forth at everybody. And it was just like, let's just use that. It's kind of funny. And it's just like a play on words, and you are building some cakes back there. So it kind of just came about.
Well, the great thing about the Cake Factory is that I would say 80%, 85% of the equipment inside the Cake Factory is designed for the lower half of the body. So, and a majority of that equipment is not basic.
No, it's not. It's not. And majority of the equipment is, in my opinion, designed more fundamentally for really how I like to train. So the mechanics on a lot of the stuff is different than what you'd see in day-to-day gyms, because they are very specialty pieces. And a lot of them I have actually spoke with the designers of the machines, just because of the fact that I am super, super involved on how the movement is in the human body, and just the way the pattern is and movement that you go in through these exercises. So the way I think in workouts is definitely very different than I'm sure most people would think. So yeah, our equipment is definitely more on the higher end, and more with the thought process of actually people going through it.
Right, right. I remember the first time walking into the Cake Factory. At the time, I was a co-owner and of Boulevard Nutrition. We opened a nutrition shop inside Boulevard Fitness after I closed the store due to COVID. And I remember walking in there and going, okay, this looks torturous. What is a pitch shark? And then after taking the time of learning, of going through actually one of your training sessions.
Yeah, you actually started working out with me for
I used to go through their training sessions.
Yeah.
People. It was a completely different aspect, because I've been in the fitness industry for 24 years, and it was the old school aspects of things played a role, but the new school of science was applied to it. And that science has you've just obliterated it. You've completely changed the aspect of the lower half of the body in how to train the movements. And we've now worked with people who do need physical help, who would never thought they would squat ever again, or leg press ever again, or lunge ever again. What drove you to do all of that? I mean, obviously you have that physical therapy background and things like that, but you are a competitor as well, and have been a competitor. It's very hard for a competitor to step away and then focus on helping more people. Why do you want to help more people?
I think a big part for me was just, I didn't really have that direction when I was getting into the fitness industry. And I worked with really great people, and I had really great coaches, and definitely learned quite a bit, but there wasn't that extra, reasoning for a lot of things behind. And there wasn't really that other side of I'm going to care about what, not only in the gym, but what's going on outside and how you can apply this outside. And there just was a lot of things I had seen in the industry that I just wasn't really most thrilled with. And I just always thought there's a way to make it better, and there's a way to get across people to create something to where everybody feels empowered when they walk in the door too. And they know, just have somebody who's just going to throw, all this reps and number schemes and stuff at them and just for the hell of it. But it's like I genuinely do want this person to succeed outside of this gym. So what they take in here and that they apply, and I'm getting them to ask questions. Like I'm telling them, please, when you're in here, ask away. Like I want you to understand what you're doing. I want you guys to be like, well, what's the purpose for this? Because to me, it was never explained to me, like in all through the years of everything, because most people really didn't have a reason, or they just didn't have an answer for me. So I fumbled my way through a lot of things, and there wasn't, I guess, a community so much that, really was a genuine one that I had really found or kind of got into. So I really wanted that for people. And I wanted some place where everybody can come, no matter if you were seasoned, if you were an athlete, if you were a mom who just wanted to get back into health and just wanted to be healthy for your kids, just wanted to have a longer longevity, somebody who's a little older, just like, you know what, I just want to feel better. Just whatever walks of life. I wanted this place to be a place where people could come and feel like they have a support system and feel like, you know what, this person actually cares about, all aspects of what's going on, and I feel safe, and I feel like I can learn. I feel like I can progress.
It's far from safe.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I would say
you destroy people.
And that I will have to say, yes.
I was sore after my first session. I was sore for like a good week. Well, I mean, that's amazing. Being at Boulevard and starting at Boulevard, did you think that you would create as much traction as you did?
Honestly, no. In the beginning, you're just like, I just want to start something, and I really, really hope and pray that like it takes off and people just walk into my doors. So we just posted this thing out last night, the video, and just even the addition of things through the years, and it kind of did take me back, just kind of getting ready for even coming on here today, talking about everything of the fact that, you don't really realize the growth until you actually look back and kind of see where you started. And I mean, you've been there with me since really the get-go too, because I was just still getting my feet wet in it. We're going through this closure during COVID and still trying to make things work. So I honestly didn't really see the community growing the way it was, like just how everything has transpired. And I think because really I didn't expect that, so many people would be wanting to be a part of it.
Right.
And, maybe that's probably a little bit lower expectations on mine, because I'm trying to create something that really hasn't been done, or just I haven't been seen too much of. So it really is awesome to see. And I mean, you've been alongside seeing as we go too. So.
Oh yeah. I remember when there was maybe 6, maybe 5 pieces of equipment in there.
Probably. And maybe like 2 barbells.
Yeah.
2 barbells.
I mean, and we were stealing plates and
grabbing plates,
dumbbells from out on the main room of the gym, but no, yeah, the growth of the Cake Factory through 4 years now has been exponential. I honestly think that COVID, as troubling as it was during those times, did allow you and us to really get people to focus on that room. A lot of people just think that we work with only females. I think it's because cake.
I think because the cake kind of drives people away a little bit.
But I think men are starting to catch on to the fact that, legs are a big, important part of the industry, most especially with a lot of these competitors. And we don't deal with just competitors, folks. So don't think that, okay? We're all around. We're truly health and fitness. This is not just the aspect of competitors. And later on, stay tuned, because you're going to hear about competitors. But one of the things about the Cake Factory that really drove me towards it and wanting to help you was the fact that we do focus on health and fitness. I think one of the things that I learned most was that we can spend an hour with people, but we necessarily don't focus on the hour. We focus on the other 23 when they're not with us. So when you come to the Cake Factory, not only are you getting the attention you need in that hour, you're getting the tools outside that you'll need as well. That meal plan, that awareness, the follow-up, the accountability, I think, is probably the biggest thing.
huge.
The big accountability. I think we kind of really drive accountability through our clients. How long? I mean, what's your longest lasting client now for the Cake Factory?
So I want to probably Renee, because Renee has followed me from hardcore. We didn't have a spot. We were at San Carlos. I tossed her back and forth with my husband because I was trying to find another location. So she's probably been with us at least 6 years, 7 years. I want to say since being a hardcore. And she's been with us and, back and forth at, Human Elite and when we had to transition. So we've been very fortunate to have some amazing people walk through and stay with us, which is incredible.
I know that we share the same vision, but what is your ultimate goal out of the Cake Factory? I know that you started and I started individual training, right? A lot of individual training, then groups, small groups. What is the primary goal, would you say?
I think primary is just to expand to reach more people. I think that's kind of always been the goal, is to try to help as many and have us be aware, or awareness, actually, I should say, brought to other people, that we are here and it is something that is a little bit differently, and how we run things in the factory isn't going to be your typical, not hard to say, F45 or the circuit style Orange Theory stuff, because it is us, and we do program specifically for who is in there. We take an account, and again, that's where it comes in the all encompassing is, I know every little thing, maybe not every little thing, but majority of somebody's life, because I want to know how I can help that in the factory. So that takes a big play in everything that we do. We program the groups, the dynamics, and everything. All of this little stuff comes into play. So to try to do that and, provide maybe a bigger space, obviously we've kind of talked about, trying to expand and just really reach more people, because ultimately I think that's the biggest goal and the biggest accomplishment you can have, is to leave a footprint with people, and leave something behind that maybe you change somebody's life in any small capacity way for the better. And to me, that's my biggest goal.
I think she doesn't really always give herself a lot of credit. So I think one of the biggest things that she's definitely done in the Cake Factory that I think a lot of trainers lack, well, number one, facilities lack, number two, because they're more worried about the number of people in the facility than they are the focus of the people in there, right? Is that even though you may have 10, 12 people in there, you're paying attention to every single one of them, even if they're at 3 or 4 different stations, because you know that each one of them has their own weaknesses and strengths. And you obviously don't want anybody to get hurt, right?
Not at all.
And that's where I believe you truly set yourself apart, is because you pay attention, truly pay attention. In an F45 class, they're just getting that heart rate up. I'm not taking anything away from that. Model works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Orange Theory, same thing. Right? But at the Cake Factory, you're giving them a dynamic of fixing the other 23 hours when they're not around you. But when they're there for that hour, it doesn't matter how many people are in there, you're focusing on everything that they're doing, paying attention to where their feet are, their stance, their posture. Nobody cheats on reps as much as people want to. That is the one thing that I think that people, when they come and try the Cake Factory and the new semi-private group classes and group classes that are going to be provided, they'll realize that this is not a group class.
No. And that's kind of the whole goal, right? Is to make sure it doesn't feel like a run of the mill, just here's your board, go do your stuff. And we've talked about this many times too, is like, this is a whole different atmosphere. And reasoning again too, is because to me, somebody is entrusting you with their health and maybe taking a step that they have not dared or had the courage to do before. And, maybe they've tried to do the gym and they've been discouraged. They've had other coaches or they've had other trainers that just haven't made them feel like they can be capable of things. So I feel when somebody makes that step and makes that leap to entrust you to lead them and to, put a pave out for them, I don't take that very lightly. And I don't take anybody's chancing on the factory lightly. So to me, it is my duty and it's my responsibility to make sure I can provide them the best that I can in every aspect, and both of us. So I think that is a huge heart for the factory for both of us that we've really, really tried to make known differently too.
Absolutely. It's crazy because going back to some of the equipment there, it's the first time I was ever introduced to a belt drive, the Pit Shark, right? Which we really have a true Pit Shark.
Yes.
And that sucker's amazing. But one of the biggest things that I've never seen in any other facility from your box gyms like 24 in LA, HE, Metro, TGs, Compound, the Gluteator.
Everyone's love-hate.
Yes.
Love-hate machine. Yes.
That machine, after doing some research, after you bringing it in, was designed and made and patented by one person.
By one person, yes.
Yeah, and I believe in San Diego County, we are the only people who have one.
We are one of the few. Yes.
One of the few, right?
One of the few.
I think there's one other smaller facility.
They have one at TG.
At TG?
Yep.
Okay.
They have one at TG, and I think that's about all that I know of. I could be wrong, but as of my knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, TGPB, right?
TGPB.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I don't ever go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still call it...
I still call it Worlds.
Worlds.
Majority everybody knows it at TG, and it's Worlds.
It just doesn't fit my tongue very well.
No.
Worlds to me just sounds so much better. But the Gluteator, I mean, just to focus on one piece of equipment that people will never be able to understand or even get to use unless they come to us. What is the Gluteator, really?
So, ironically, I actually just got off the phone with the wife of the gentleman who makes the Gluteator. They're not producing them right now due to the fact that it's just him making them, which is phenomenal. Like I said, like you were mentioning, he did design it and put together, and he's very on top of his craft. So he doesn't really trust a lot of people with his design, which I can completely understand. But the Gluteator is a specialty piece, and he actually designed this for physical therapists and to be put into facilities because he hadn't seen anything like that. But it is an abductor machine, except it was designed to follow the path and the motion that the glute medius actually goes through. So the difference of it is typical abduction machines, they're just in a straight linear path. They just open out and wide. This one actually kind of opens out, down, and slightly backwards, which actually follows, again, the path of where the medius kind of actually runs. So there hasn't been other machines that actually do that. And I was really, really excited to see this and stumble across it. And actually I talked to one of the guys who kind of helped them sail them out, and he was actually in the physical therapy field. So yeah, I got really deep into mechanics of things on this one, and it really is an incredible piece of machinery because it is very targeted. It's very specific in those upper regions in your glutes that you probably will not feel on other exercises or in the normal abduction machines. So it truly is a piece that everyone, excuse my language, says is a pain in their ass.
Well, I think that, again, the health and fitness aspects of things, right? It being a physical therapy piece, most especially with women, right? They're very focused on the lower half, I think it's funny that I find a lot of the women not being so flexible. So, with the Gluteator, I noticed that it helps strengthen their hips, definitely. Helps strengthens their abductors and inductors, their tie-ins, which is very important, towards core strength.
Right.
So, having that piece of machinery. If there are any of you out there that are worried about that core strength or those
Back.
tie-ins, your lower back, lower back pains, things like that, that's the type of machinery that'll definitely help strengthen those aspects, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize too. A lot of lower back pain and hip pain is actually due to weak glutes, weak hips, and it ironically, obviously the glute kind of phases out, but it is something that really does need to be addressed in more of a therapy and health overall awareness too, because even as you get older, your hips are what move you. So if that's lacking, if that's weak, you're going to have bad hips, you're going to have bad knees, you're going to have lower back issues, you're going to be probably hunched over and always wondering why you're throwing everything out every which way you do. So it is really important to actually understand that too.
Well, most women, birthing, carrying
Absolutely.
babies, hips widen out naturally from carrying a baby, right? It's a great opportunity for them to help through that process, along with being able to strengthen it
Yeah,
through there
absolutely.
as well. Again, a lot of people don't realize that the Cake Factory has specific things designed for the lower half, not just for building your glutes or building your quads or building your hamstrings, but strengthening the supporting systems that keep them strong and keep them in building form, right? Like you had mentioned, wellness, right? Wellness is taken off.
Oh, skyrocketing.
And I've noticed that with wellness, you're seeing the tie-ins and abductors and inductors on women now really being focused. Is there almost a too much in that? I mean, I've seen it and it's almost like whoa, you can make that big,
Yeah. And a lot genetics too, but definitely people are kind of putting a little bit more emphasis on that, I would say, for sure. But obviously where the division goes too. So I think that kind of changes as the years progress too on what everyone's thinking that they're looking for. But oh yeah, there's some crazy genetics going on out there too with some of these girl structures. Is pretty astonishing too.
That's yeah. They're starting younger now too.
Yes.
So they're catching on to
Yes.
that development phase as they start to progress and mature in their body and capitalizing on it more.
Well, and especially I think now too, when we were in this, there wasn't social media, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't any platform to just go like, oh, let me get this Olympia's workout and get all these tips from everybody. The way you learned was trial and error through yourself. So in all reality, it's a good generation to grow up in the fitness because there is a lot of information. Yeah, there is a lot of bad information out there too, but there is a lot of information for you to kind of learn and to research for yourself, which again, we didn't really have as much readily available. But yeah, these younger ones they're coming in a little bit more stacked now. It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Well, I mean, capping on that, social media and having this technology now, look out on the YouTube channel, folks. There will be tutorials. There will be things that you'll see Alyssa put up to help you on every aspect,
Yes.
Along with just coming to the class.
Right.
Check out the classes, check out the group classes, get the focus in, allow us to see you, and I don't want to say analyze you, I guess. Do an assessment. An assessment,
really,
I should say.
I just give feedback and I think critique on certain things because I think no matter what level you're at, there's always something to learn. I mean, I'm still always learning and trying to find people to learn from and asking questions. So it's definitely our place is a place to do that.
I don't think also we don't just focus on the lower half.
No.
We do upper, lower, full body workouts.
We're going to be introducing some conditioning classes coming in here too.
Yeah, you all will love my conditioning classes.
Just a little side note, Chris loves the cardio.
I'm considered the 1,000 rep guy.
Yeah.
You do a lot of reps.
Yeah.
The girls don't like me very much.
So side note, if I go away sometimes, Chris takes over and trains my girls, and then they come back and are like, I won't complain about those extra 5 plates with the less reps.
Yeah. I come from an old school aspect.
Yeah.
The internal body is also a muscle. Mm-hmm. And we need to be strong, not just in appearance, but internally as well, right?
Strong hearts.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why we focus on everything, right? Health and fitness. We help people with their food. Never sacrifice food for cardio, never sacrifice cardio for weights. And we truly focus on every aspect of that and in helping them all around. So what year are we in now?
Oh my gosh, I know.
3 or 4?
We're in 4.
4, the 4th year.
4th year now.
4th year. So the 4th year of the Cake Factory, long overdue, but this is going to be going head on.
Yeah, it's definitely something long overdue, but I think we needed the right pieces to come into play. And again, when you stepped in, that was definitely a huge addition for me too, and for the factory, and to add into the community. Not only just obviously everything that you help us with, but you kind of came in and molded everything together and brought that health piece into us too. And your knowledge with your nutrition shops and health and programming and diets and things with clients helped me a lot too. So it was a huge encompassing of bringing obviously what we always talk about, the yin and yang together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I love food. Can't help it.
Also, probably the reason I actually got to grow for those couple years too.
I fed her 3 or 4 times a day. I'd walk in with breakfast every day. Just, you need the carbs.
I think the entire gym was like, "Oh my God, you're eating again?" I'm like, "Yep." He brought me more pancakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think she was eating like 500-600 grams of carbs a day.
Yeah.
A day.
I think I was
At
just
one point.
walking.
And
Probably
that
like
was,
10
yeah.
minutes. 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, I hate you. It sucks.
But I was training hard though. I was
Yeah,
training extremely hard.
Well, and plus you were running all the you were doing the
I was running all
classes,
the
and you had
classes.
your clients as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people realize, being a personal trainer, running group classes, you're pulling plates off, you're moving around just as much as they are. If
Yep.
you're doing it multiple times throughout the day for multiple hours throughout the day,
Yeah.
there was a time when I had like 22 clients,
Mm-hmm.
and you have these classes with 12 to 15 girls in there and guys in there, and just going hard.
Yeah, you're racking
So-
and racking weights all day and moving around. So that definitely, it adds up.
Yeah,
It
food's
adds
super
up.
important. Super, super important. And she was in prep too. I don't know how she did it. She went through prep, 3 times?
3 times.
3 times.
3 times during all that.
3 times.
Because prep to me is, that's a choice that you do. And I feel that it should never outshadow your job or your, of course sometimes you're going to have to put a little bit more into it. But to me, it just shouldn't be something that ruins everything else that you built. You make a choice to prep, and you make a choice to suffer on some of this stuff. I'm not going to make everybody else suffer because this is what I chose to do on my outside time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also I enjoy having a push. I just enjoy having goals, and I enjoy seeing what I was capable of, which really was the whole reason I got into fitness to begin with, was to see what I was capable of doing.
Do you plan on jumping on stage yet?
I plan on seeing what I could just push myself to, and that's just improving, obviously, my workouts a little bit better and training harder and switching things up. But I really, in my heart, feel that this time right now is for getting the Cake Factory out and doing the best that we can to provide in all aspects. And this is kind of the start of the jump off, which I'm super, super excited for. And to me, training is just, it's a love I have no matter what. So stage or no stage, it's always going to be the same for me. It's not an off season. It's just, this is my life.
Well, I mean, we've pumped out a few athletes out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Oh, yeah.
good ones. CJ came out of there.
Yeah. We've
I
trained
mean,
quite a
went
few
from-
guys and girls.
Yeah, Ali, the girls. Yeah, there's quite a few athletes that have come out there, but I think the athletes are a very small percentage compared to the amount of people that have really focused themselves in the Cake Factory
Yeah.
and learned and trained through it and followed you everywhere and hate me for cardio. I remember when I bought the battle bike in there, they're like, why would you do that?
They're like, Chris, we don't do cardio.
Why
What
would
is
you bring a
this?
battle bike in
That's
here?
rude.
Wait till I bring a row machine in there. Yeah, good luck. Wait till I
Yeah.
bring a row machine in there.
Oh yeah.
But that'll be fun. But I mean, 4 years going strong. We're at Boulevard Fitness. You know, again, like I think that with the way that you started and the idea and the passion that you put towards that idea has created the end result now. And in that end result, we have helped. You have helped quite a few people. I mean, I've talked to a lot of your girls who just, I mean, Paula crying because she hit a PR.
Mm-hmm.
She never thought she would go beyond a certain weight. And there you go. I've seen weight melt off some of these men and women. Andrew dancing
Yeah. Yeah. Talking.
and talking. You know, I never knew that this guy would even be in a group of people talking and being social. And here he is, you know, doing all of those things. And that was one of the things that I learned when I got my certs back in the days, was that they, like, one of the very first chapters was separate yourself from the psychology of your clients. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things to do,
It is.
especially
It is.
when you're running it and you create a culture in it and they are willing to just unload on you and you see them bloom, just create, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah, and you got to walk a fine line with that sometimes
absolutely.
too, right? There's going to be times you probably spill over on either side, but yeah, it's that culture and those people kind of trust you with outside of the gym, and that's a huge, huge component too.
Well, remember, health and fitness just doesn't mean the body, the internals. I mean, the mind can play a big, big role on how well you excel towards your goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stress and especially nowadays with, you know, certain mental things that are out there and
Yeah,
how society is right now. And, you know, having, like you said, a safe place to go to, of people to be able to just not just get advice on their health and fitness, on creating and developing, but on life itself. Walking that fine line is very important, you know?
yeah,
And so the next step for us now is, I believe, is we're launching the website.
yes.
So booking and everything will be out on there.
Booking will be
you know.
through the website. We're going to be adding in features, options for people to get in advanced groups and classes and stuff too. So it'll be all laid out for everybody. Booking's all going to go through there. There's more options for people to be able to get in touch with us too.
Yeah, absolutely. And two, you know, like one thing as well is, like, I want people to understand is we do have a focus, but that doesn't limit us at all. You know, we're not limited to anything. So don't be afraid to ask questions. That's probably the biggest thing for us, is always ask. There are no stupid questions. Number two, if there's something that you want out of us, ask. Because we will find a way to help provide.
Yeah. If we don't know, we will find. We will.
Absolutely.
We'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
And actually, that's a really, really good touch point that you mentioned on that, because that was something recently that I've had a few people tell me was they didn't feel they could ask previous coaches or trainers what they were doing or why they were doing, because they would kind of get yelled at for, which to me is pretty ridiculous, because that's what they're there for. You know, you shouldn't need me the entire time. Of course, I want you to be there. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I would love to have everybody stay with me for as long as possible, and I would hope that they would stay just because, you know, obviously they get a little push, but I don't want you to need me forever. You should
yeah.
be able to learn, and I want you to be able to understand everything so that you can take that and take that outside of here too. This is not just, oh, come here and I hold all the information, so you only come to me. That's not how it should be. And I think that's a big touch point too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the fact that a lot of my clients will come to me, train for a little bit, leave, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to Hawaii, or I'm going on a vacation.
Yeah.
I need a little bit of help." You know what I mean? Or the athletes that have learned and grown and stepped away and then educated themselves beyond us.
Yeah.
And now are real coaches.
Yeah.
You know, not
absolutely.
just the person who jumps on stage and becomes a coach, which is going to be a topic soon.
That'll be on the next
A
topic.
great hot topic. I'm going to get a lot of heat for that, but who cares? And that's the thing is I think that a lot of people don't realize that being a coach or a personal trainer or somebody that like us, our goal isn't for you to be with us for the rest of your life. As much as we would want you to or love you to or whatever it may be, we want you to take what we teach you and apply it to your life and learn from your own mistakes and come back and ask more questions and come and see us again and tap back into the source.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Because as much as I love you guys, you know.
As much as we love you, but
Well, no, I mean, Eli, I think we're going on our fourth year now.
Yeah.
And I mean, Eli was 230 something pounds when he came to me.
I remember
I mean, the
seeing
guy
that.
would never wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
He was always in a sweater.
Yeah.
And now he's in t-shirts and shorts and tank tops, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know, he's
You can see the more confidence,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And that in itself is just like, this is why we do it.
and that's the thing is I think
right?
people don't realize that when you help them towards their goal, their confidence exudes not just in their physical aspects, but in their mental aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. I
You
might
know?
put one of my girls on spot, but one of my best friends growing up, her sister, Lexi, started coming with us a year ago. It was a year ago. And I'm sorry, Lex, I used to give her a hard time all the time. We all told her, heavy sweaters, overly sized all the time. And she started wearing t-shirts and started taking her tank tops and stuff like that. And, still give her a little hard time for it. But to watch her go through this past year of seeing the blossom and see her just face light up and be part of something like, and I would, tell my girlfriends all the time, like that is right there. That is the whole reason behind everything, that she, goes outside of the world and is more confident to be out there and to be herself and to light up and talk and, be exuberant and be strong. And she's over there repping out the pitch art with like 12 plates,
Oh God.
tell me, I don't know if I can do this. And then just does like 15.
Oh wow. We've done a boys versus girls a couple
That
times.
was a major thing.
Yeah, that was a big thing we used to do a lot of, and I've had to get 1,500 plus pound weighted bars now because the girls were hip thrusting 700-pound plus weight.
We bent bars in there.
Yeah, they were
So
bending bars.
If you've seen one of our old videos, we've literally bent bars.
Brandy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brandy, bending the bars. But it's just seeing them challenge themselves, not getting hurt,
No.
using proper form, creating confidence mentally, physically, seeing them all transition and change. I think that's why we do it.
Absolutely. The dynamic that they all create together too is just, I don't think that that's something you could ever expect to happen.
No.
It just unfolds, and to see that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
In everybody. And, I could go on about all our clients because everybody is truly amazing, and getting to be a part of people's journeys, I think, is something that trainers and coaches really don't appreciate as much anymore these days, and realize, what changes in what their lives are actually, benefiting out of too. So I think we miss that a lot in coaching and training and stuff too, is realizing that every single time of, impacting somebody's life and making sure you're doing it in a positive way.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people too need to also be aware of is that because we've been in this industry for quite some time combined,
Right.
we have a circle of influence of things and people that we can designate certain things to, whether it be stretching, muscle work with Peter,
Yeah.
Jimmy, or whomever, right? I think Peter's Muscle Meds now.
Muscle Medics.
Muscle
Yes,
Medics, yeah.
Muscle Medics.
Muscle Medics, so go check them out on IG. I mean, having those things, not just us, because most people won't do that. Most people won't refer that out or say, hey, go see them for their food or go see them for this, because they're afraid of losing that client.
Right.
Or losing certain aspects of that client. That's one thing that I really praise you for, is because you're not afraid of that. You care more about the goal set of that person and them reaching it than you do about the possibility of losing them in any way. I've seen you refer them out to Chrissy, and say, hey, go check her out. If you're going to TG, go see them. And that to me is huge. That's a confidence that a lot of other trainers don't ever lack, I think, and kind of you can see it within them.
Yeah.
But you don't, and they don't leave. They come right back, and they come back even happier, even want more.
That's both of us, and I think we both exude that. And because again, like what you were saying, it's not about holding somebody. I want somebody to reach their goals. I want somebody to be their best potential. And if I can't provide that, or if there's somewhere else that will help them, or if they've moved somewhere else, I want them to be able to keep pushing and keep reaching towards that. So why wouldn't you?
Right, no, absolutely.
Somebody else has a little bit better of technique, or they can learn, or maybe they just have a different dynamic with somebody.
Oh yeah.
Please.
Sometimes people just want to.
Yeah.
They just mesh differently with
absolutely.
other things. And I think that's definitely what stands us apart. So, coming back from hardcore fitness, ending up during COVID because of the lockdowns at Boulevard, starting from there with Peter, having a few trainers in and out of the facility, my happy ass walking in there and getting destroyed.
Weekly. You were going weekly for a little while.
Twice
too.
a week.
Twice a week, you guys.
Yeah, twice a week.
And he would tell me I need to take a minute for a second
Yeah.
before I come in here.
Twice a week. Yeah. I dreaded it. I don't know if I'd ever come back. But I mean, if that's the thing is, if Nolan ever says he needs to take a picture of me, we'll see.
We give 2 weeks.
Give me
we
2
give
weeks.
you a 2-week notice.
Give me a 2-week notice.
For the headshots.
Yeah. With my clothes still on.
Yeah. Fully clothed, headshot. But find you
like
in
a
the gym
15-minute photo.
Yeah.
For
Find
2
you in the
weeks
gym
of
early in the
cardio.
morning. I would turn on the lights and this guy's in there on the bike. I'm like, what are you doing? I got 2 weeks. I'm like, it's a headshot. It's a headshot, brother.
When your face is going to be immortalized on the internet, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
As I walk in with like some French toast or pancakes, I'm like, oh,
I'm a foodie.
maybe I should have dieted for that too.
I'm such a foodie. But the great thing about you is that you've learned how to listen to your body. And I think that's one thing that people are learning, is how to listen to their body. It's how to turn around, hug the cactus, face the mirror, and say, hey, I'm the problem, not my trainer, not my coach, not my class. It's me.
Yeah.
And doing it with confidence, not feeling like they're demoralizing themselves or anything like that. We want them to do that. We want them to turn around and hug the cactus.
It's the only way to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Truly, truly grow.
Yeah. So now that we have where you planted the seed, and we've continued to water that plant, we are launching the website.
Yes.
We're launching this podcast. Okay. Our next goal is to expand, right? Get into a little bit bigger of a space.
Yep.
So we can provide more opportunities. We want people to be able to record their journey and see their journey through services that we provide through Noland, right?
Yep.
And having that ability creates a no-nonsense place.
Yeah.
Not just for athletes. I mean, I think athletes will see it more towards them, but I mean, when you see that, soccer mom or the dad who's just like, I haven't been in shape in years, and they get to see that transition, through video, through pictures. It's almost like, hey, check me out kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll provide that for them.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, this is all walks of life.
Oh, yeah.
All walks of life through here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And even as we expand and grow, how we've always talked about it is, those moralities and those principles that we hold, like that is something that is the core of us. So, I know as things kind of grow, a lot of people lose that, but that's really what is us. So that's going to be something that still continues no matter what we do and where we grow into. We're just adding more amazing people to it now and expanding out. And, we got Nolan down here with us now, which has really been a great addition. Obviously he stepped in. So we have a power team. And
I'm excited.
I'm really excited for this next chapter for us.
I was really excited for this day. As nervous as I was coming in here because I got voted in without even being around for the vote. But this to me is really, where I wanted to be. I've learned so much from you as far as the physical fitness of things, the education base of things, of how to do things right, and being able to verbally transition that for you and help us. That's super important, So our Cake Factory's behind the lines journey is super important, and getting people to understand where it first started and rooted is really, really important. So they know. Yeah. They know. Yeah. And we will experience our roads of speed bumps and whatever it may be. Yeah. The great thing about it is that we're not afraid of that.
No.
We're not.
No.
At all.
And just a thanks on yours, because I think, we touched base a little bit about this too, is it's not always an easy road, obviously, when you're creating something. And there's definitely a lot of people that probably don't show or appreciate the value or appreciate what you're capable of. So when you stepped in, that was definitely a huge, obviously, thing for me. And we talk about this all the time, because your faith too, and your belief in, I'm good at being out in public and, beating everybody up in the workouts and things like that. But the behind the scenes stuff that you do and what you help grow, that's what keeps the foundation going too. So, I want you guys to know that too. Like Chris stepping in was a huge, monumental thing too. So
thank you. He's a great yin and yang.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of basically it. Well,
it's a great yin and yang. It's definitely, it's been a journey, and it's been fun, and I'm really excited. Like I said, Nolan knows how happy I am about today.
Just so you guys know this, he's been a kid in a candy store. Every day
yeah, I have topics that Nolan's like, maybe you might want to slow down on those topics there. Buddy.
So just heads up, you guys, be prepared, because we're gonna probably blur some lines, and we might have some not happy people, but we're gonna be honest and we're gonna be truthful about everything.
Because I don't give a F. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I have faith more than I have hope. Mm-hmm. I mean, faith is what fills the tank of hope. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
And faith I can control up to 90% and leave the rest up to a greater entity.
Yep.
And as long as I can control that and not that 50-50 chance of things, and then learn from my mistakes and learn from those that are around me and have a great support system like yourself and Nolan, it makes the journey fun.
It does. It does.
It makes it fun, and I think people forget how to have fun.
And I think that's the thing is I don't think a lot are blessed with having a surrounding that is genuine, and that's what adds to it, because then you guys are all going in with the right intentions and with the same heart. Mm-hmm. So you do get to have fun, and you get to enjoy it, and you get to enjoy the process and the speed bumps and this or that, but you get to ride the whole bus together, and that's a fun ride. That's a fun journey.
Alyssa came up with this thing where she put a bunch of whiteboards up in the factory. And we call it the talking shit board.
We do.
Because the girls and guys will run up there and just write a phrase of them like totally hating on Alyssa. Like, where did you learn how to count, biatch? Or, just like whips and chains please me, but bands and, whatever, like just some crazy stuff. And when you guys get the opportunity to get in there, which you should, okay, check out the website, check out the YouTube channel. You'll be able to write on that board and talk your shit.
Yes.
And then get immortalized on a T-shirt one day. Because every phrase will soon be on a T-shirt.
Yep.
And because it's important that we involve everybody's journey.
Yes.
Right.
And those not so Monday motivational quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all from everybody. So if you guys see that on our Instagram every Monday, those somewhat motivational, those are words of encouragement from the girls. We started with one whiteboard and it's filled the entire wall.
Yeah.
And we're filling another wall too. So just so you guys have an idea of how much verbiage is thrown at me during sessions. But it's a tradition now. So please come out and you'll get I'm sure you'll come up with your own phrase to throw up on there.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they will. The first time, especially if you're new to the class and you're new to the Cake Factory, you won't be so pleased about the words you write.
Probably not.
No. But when you come back, because you will, you'll absolutely love what you wrote. Because it's going to create an addiction.
Yeah.
I guarantee it will.
And because when somebody else is dying, they're looking at your words and like, yeah, I agree. She is a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. I think I was the guy who wrote like, who taught you how to count?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, well, thank you again for allowing me to join the Cake Factory, what you developed and started, and the idea that you planted and allowed me to help grow that seed. Check out the website. Check out the YouTube channel.
Yep.
There's a lot coming on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
So go to the IG. Get all those links from IG. Okay? Right?
Yep.
Cake Factory Training Facility. Check them all out there. And get ready. Cake Factory behind the lines. And if there's anything out there that you guys want us to talk about, shoot us a DM.
Yeah.
Shoot us a DM.
Absolutely.
Shoot us a DM because we're not afraid to talk. Well, I know I'm not afraid to talk about it.
We're not afraid.
We're not afraid to talk about it. Who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, there are questions out there that people are going to want to ask.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about everything from, health and fitness on every aspect. Your food, your diet, your physical aspects of it, workouts. If you're looking for somebody to help you through prep, your first time getting into a show, if it's something that you're thinking about, if it's one of those bucket list things that you want to knock off, we'll help you through that. Even supplementation.
Yep.
There's going to be a very fun series on supplementation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very fun series on supplementation.
Yeah. And the industry in general.
Yeah.
Women in the industry.
Yeah.
Morality.
Y'all don't need to take a lot of those things.
Morality.
Character. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. A lot of topics coming your guys' way, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, sister.
Thank you, brother.
Again, thank you, everybody, to Cake Factory Presents Behind the Line.